Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently taking the Columbus European Laboratory over to the ISS. So let's warp on through here. We've got quite a lot of warping to do, in fact, because we've got a ways to go here. Now, apparently our target got cleared at some point. I restarted the game, so that's probably why. Yep, this looks like a very solid separation here. 0.6 kilometers, we'll take it. So we're going to warp forward a little bit here. 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Please lock to the node. That would help. We were drifting there because I had restarted the game, like I said, and I didn't actually tell it to be locked to the node. It just thought that it was told. So we're fine here. That is absolutely okay. So this will deliver us within about half a kilometer or so of our target location. And we'll definitely get there the rest of the way with our corrective burns. So that'll be all fine. We've overshot this a little bit. Is that okay? That's fine. This is close enough. So let's swap on over to target mode here. And at this point, we are going to want to warp to around here. Phenomenal. So we are heading on in here. The station should be out from Kerbal for us. It should be visible by this point. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but let's head over towards relative velocity minus for the moment. It might still be a little too far away. Possibly. Let's just do a small corrective burn here, and that is actually going to be somewhere around here or so. There we go. How's that looking? 0.5 kilometers. I like it. Let's go about half the distance here, so warping about a minute forward. I saw the station appear there for a moment. There it is, about 10 kilometers out. Okay, looks good. We're going to have to do a corrective burn somewhere around here or so. About there. That'll do. And let's head over to relative velocity minus. How are we looking now? 0.0 kilometers. I like it. No problem whatsoever there, but of course, we're going to have to make sure not to impact the station at a reasonable speed here. We're going at 200 meters per second relative to the station, and we do not want to impact it at that speed. So we're just going to bring this in to around 2.5 kilometers and commencing our braking burn. We are now loading in the station, and things get a lot spicier from here. If the frame rate's too bad, I might restart the game here because I did just restart it and we just started up this episode. We'll see how that ends up going. But for now, we are doing our braking burn, and braking burn is absolutely vital before a game restart if we end up doing it that way. So we're definitely going to be overshooting this. No doubt about it, but we're not going to impact. So that's all good. I'm not too concerned about it, but we are going to overshoot. That's okay. We're down to 100 meters per second right now. It's interesting. Our thrust to weight feels a lot lower than usual. 0.56. I mean, we're at 10% thrust, but we're normally at 10% thrust. I don't know. Well, we did overshoot it. It's fine. I'm not too concerned about overshooting it here. We can just get this turned around and head back in, no problem whatsoever. We are still moving away from it at about 40 meters per second, so for future reference, somewhere around 3 kilometers would have been better. Even that might have overshot it a little bit. But our thrust to weight definitely feels low here, no doubt about it. Okay, we have come to a halt now, and we are beginning to burn towards target as of now. Okay, so we're heading in at about 2 meters per second. For the time being, I'm going to leave it at about 5 meters per second. And let's switch around to relative velocity minus, and we're going to open this guy up. Bill is going to EVA, and we're going to start working on deploying our cargo. So, first things first, we're going to need to start removing some of these struts. It's a little hard to do while we're turning here, but we'll get that one out of there. Next up, I want to remove this strut. There we go. Then this one. Phenomenal. Then this one. That should be all of the struts for right now. So let's hop back in and let's check in on our positioning. We're still 800 meters out, so that seems absolutely okay. I want to target this back to being 0 at this point. This is way too high of a traverse rate. There's no doubt about that. Let's bring that right on down. Okay. That, of course, picks up this sway, which is actually reasonably expected. We are going to work our way out of this sway. And in the meantime, we are still about 700 meters from the station. So I'm not too concerned about that. Bill, you can EVA again. And we are going to look to grab this strut. And I want to strut this guy on here when we are relatively straight up and down. About like that. I don't think that's perfectly straight, but it's pretty close, actually. Yeah, we'll take it. That'll do. So we need to hop in here, and we, of course, are still heading in towards the station. So heading in this direction. We're still about 600 meters out, so we can now warp in a little bit. Cool. Somewhere around here or so. Finding ourselves at 180 meters out from the station. So we're going to need to be on... Let me think here. The Harmony module here on the starboard side. So that'll be this guy right over here is our target docking port, I believe. Hang on a moment. Okay, so we've got a small problem here. And this small problem is this is a small docking port. And this guy here, that's a large docking port. So that is definitely an issue. We can fix it. Kind of. We're going to need to bring up an extra docking port on our next flight. How do I want to handle that? Well, let's just bring this to a halt for right now. Yeah, I definitely should have thought of that when designing this thing. No doubt about that. Let's bring this to a halt and let's evaluate what our options might end up being. So inside of this, we've got a claw. Okay. That's all well and good. Out here, we do have extra docking ports. So we could just bring up a new docking port. That is an option. We've also got the PMAs. Do we have any docking ports stowed away anywhere here? In any of these inventory locations? That's a grab arm and a bunch of struts. I'm not shocked about that. This is EVA repair kits. I don't think we have any spare large docks here. As I'm looking at this is definitely crooked. Okay. And this is not in a perfect position either. So we could work on that. So the way that we would end up doing this is we would like yoink one of these temporarily, and then in the next flight, we would bring up a new one. So that would end up meaning that one of these docking ports would be removed temporarily. We would bring a new one in addition to whatever the next cargo is, which I haven't looked at as of yet. In fact, we may want to take a quick look at that. So let me just see here. Did I close the browser window? No, I did not. Okay, phenomenal. So taking a look at our flight manifest here, right? We just did this currently is the Columbus European Laboratory. So next up is going to be Dexter and the Experiment Logistics module. Okay, so that gets attached to the Harmony module. I think that we can... Yeah, we can definitely bring something with that. So that should be okay. Dexter's going to be interesting to construct. But what we're going to do for right now is we're going to need to get our shuttle into position. So I'm going to control from here. And we're going to go from our current perspective. This is going... What directionality are we looking at here? This is going to be a forward perspective. Yes, this is going to be a forward perspective. So we need to get down underneath it, right? And that'll be fine. We also are going to need to go this direction, which I believe is going to be a bit of a right perspective from here. Yeah, I just want to have these be aligned for right now. Cool. Now we're not pointing at target, and that is by design at this moment. So I want to coast this direction a little bit. That'll be fine. And what direction do these need to go relative to the station? That is a question that we do need to ask here. So we're in approximately a decent vertical position. Okay. So we can bring this back in the vertical vector. And honestly, I think we can just bring this down to about here, right? Okay, noted. So we're going to need to bring this guy back to about here or so, and then maybe go a little bit this way. But that'll do for now. So now I want to point at the target. No RCS, please. Okay, and now we're going to need to get closer to the target. We're still going to need to go down and get under it, but I want to get closer to the target for right now. So let's just bring this right on in towards target at something like 0.5 meters per second or so. Out of curiosity. Okay, yep, that is indeed empty. I was wondering if that was that thrust to weight issue, but no. I did remember to empty that, so that's good. That is absolutely fine. So this is going to be a small docking port on this side for sure. We're going to leave it that way because, I mean, we know that this side is not really going to be utilized. So that's okay. No problem whatsoever there. We're going to have to grab one of these. So Bill, while we're heading in here, I want you to EVA. I want you to grab this and store it in the cockpit. Okay, things are going wacky here, and I suppose I should have anticipated that because we were controlling from there. Kill rod. Thank you very much. Okay, RCS is fine. Go ahead and point towards target. Yeah, that's okay for the moment. And we're going to need the correct size of adapter here, right? So what that ends up meaning, wow, Bill, you're looking very creepy. What that ends up meaning is we take this off of here and also store that in the cockpit. I'm actually shocked that we can store that in there. We've got 5 liters of storage left. Okay, so that's fine for the moment. And we're just going to bring this in. We're going to have to steal one of these docking ports. And the experiment logistics module connects to the... what docking port does that connect to? I'm checking our ISS configuration here. So looking in at this, the module is going to go onto the Harmony node. So that ends up going onto, let's see here, that's PMA3, that's PMA2. This is the Kibo Gem PM. Is that? Yes. This is the Japanese experiment module. So the Gem PM is actually a different thing. This is the ELM that we're looking for. That's the next thing. Gotcha. So the ELM is, that's the ELM PS there. But that might end up just going on top of this PMA. That might be what we're looking for here. Okay. We need to check in on where we are right now. How are we doing? We're doing fine. We're still slowly drifting our way on in. So if that is indeed what we're looking for, then that goes on to where the PMA currently is. So obviously we have a PMA here, and then we have a PMA here in the, not exactly, this is in the Zenith port. So the PMA here would be where that would end up being connected to. So that's all good. We're targeting this docking port here. We can steal probably this docking port, or actually the nadir docking port is the one that shuttles are going to be docking to eventually. So that one should be acceptable for us to steal here because we don't actually dock our shuttle up, like, ever. Like, for real. So that'll be an okay one to steal. We'll just have to remember in the next flight to bring up a replacement docking port for that. So that'll be okay. So we're just continuing to head in here. I'm going to warp us in a wee bit faster. Okay. We'll just position about here. And we're going to adjust our velocity here a bit. We're going a bit up, which we don't necessarily want. And let's bring this to a halt. That is the other direction. Let's bring this to a halt. Thank you very much. So we're going to have to grab this docking port. Or actually, I want to get a little closer in here, now that I think about it. So we're still about 11 meters out. I'm just going to warp us a tiny bit closer here, because I want to be able to work on this from the shuttle, right? So we're just going to bring this down from about here. Okay. Bill, you're going to EVA. And I want to grab... Ooh, we can't quite grab it from here. We might have to wait for this to get a little closer. I feel like we should be in range to grab this, though. I wish we were. Unfortunately, we are not currently. So, in that case, we may have to warp it a tiny bit closer. We are still moving towards the station here. Just a teeny tiny bit. So if we warp a little closer in here, something like that, we can still bring this into a bit of a halt. About there. Bill can EVA now. And now we can grab this. Beautiful. So I want to rotate this guy and just have it go right there. That is perfection. Okay. So then we're going for the starboard port, right? So we'll board in here, and this is the starboard port. So now what I want to do is I want to turn RCS off. I want to rotate us around this direction. We do need to figure out what the orientation of these are supposed to be relative to the rest of the ship. So let's get ourselves a teeny tiny amount of vertical speed here. We really don't need much, although a little more than that would probably be for the best. Okay, let's just bring this down, and looking at the Columbus module here, it looks to me like we want these to be in a vertical orientation. So when this gets oriented in here, we're actually in the correct orientation here. Okay, so that is absolutely fine. I mean, we're going to need to get a little bit of rotation this way to match the station, right? But when I say correct orientation, it looks like this. So that's fine. And kill rot for now. I want to control from here. And we're going to just float down a little bit here. Okay, we just need to get far enough down, around here or so. Maybe even a little further, actually. Yeah, about here. So from here, we need to stop our downward momentum. So that would end up being bringing this guy around to like here. And doing something like that. Okay. Now I want some forward momentum from the perspective of the cockpit. So that would actually end up being downward momentum from the perspective of this thing. Okay. Well, that's definitely spicy. And we're just going to gently bring this in. Phenomenal. So as far as our spare parts that we have here, we might want to leave these on station. That'll probably be for the best. But for the moment, let's continue to head in here. I don't think our orientation is exactly where I want this to be. I'm a little concerned about our wings clipping over here as well. So to that end, yeah, our orientation is definitely not exact. No doubt about that. But we can fix that on the way in here. So we're going to need to go over to the right here a bit. Consider that done. And we can see this heading over here. Yeah, that's deeply unsurprising. I'm going to point at target here. And we're going to need to back off here on this speed. We've overshot a little bit on the forward velocity. Okay. Please stop pointing there. What we need now is to bring this guy up and be braking this velocity. Okay, so we are in approximately the right position now to finish braking that velocity. There we go. That'll do. Now we need to go backwards a little bit here, which ends up being this direction. And we're going to need to go ever so slightly off to the, I believe, left here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure out this way. Cool. Bringing that to a halt. This is not really the direction I want to be going here. Okay, I want to head towards the docking port right now. Where is our velocity at? That's my question. Where is our velocity marker? The correct answer is I have no idea right now. Okay, there it is. Wow, that is a long ways away. Okay, so we're going to need to get that vector rotated around here. Let's point at target. And let's get heading in to target here. Now, we're going to be at a little bit of an awkward angle here, so I'm keeping us a little off here. In terms of our overall angle for target, we're going to need to definitely do a little bit of rotation here. Oh, things are a little off on that front. Okay, about here. Cool. And now we're heading directly at the target. Our angling is not correct, though. So I want to take us out over, actually here is the angle that we want to be at. Okay. Bringing us back in, lining it up. This is definitely a little bit awkward here, but that should do it. There we go. We are docked. So that is phenomenal. We got this docked up. I believe it to be in the correct orientation here, or approximately correct anyway. Let's have Bill EVA here, and let's get this set up. Of course, we did have to steal this docking port, and we will fix that. So next, I'm going to strut from here, actually out to the PMA. So that's going to go out to here. Then I'm going to strut from here to this PMA, which both of those have slightly awkward positioning on their setups there. That is noted. There we go. Connect that in there. We're going to get this strut strutted in directly to the Harmony module here. There we go. And then finally, this strut, which is going to also end up going to the Harmony module. So that's going to go from here over to here. There we go. Now we can undock this. So let's have Bill hop back in. And we can undock here. And we just want to head directly away. So just pull out directly here. We don't want to get caught here, but this looks good. Okay, so we got that set up. Of course, we're going to have to bring in a docking port for this location, so that is noted for next flight. But, to be honest, that's pretty much all we need to do for this flight. So I think that we're going to bring this guy on home, but that is going to end up being a next episode sort of mission at this point. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.